proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Crunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. All those things makes a huge difference. This 2025 season is flying in and we're getting closer and closer to the end. But in this season we're going to look back at the Junior British Rally Championship and the Stellantis Cup, and we're going to talk to the winners there. Is Darragh Mullen, and the driver is Gareth McBride. So yeah, interesting chat with those two guys there now as well too. Also this weekend coming up with the Donegal Forestry, we're going to catch up with COC for the Vintage Johnny Baird. And then finally, there's a lot of news going on around at the moment about historic rallying, and we thought we'd take a wee bit of a deep dive into that then. So we're going to talk to Gareth McKay. Gareth would have been one of those guys, Waylander Rally Clips a few years ago, but he's kept a really strong interest in rallying, and especially historic rallying. He goes across the world watching historic rallying. So we're going to get some thoughts from him, because we're hearing all these stories coming out of Chris Meek coming to Killarney and the RAC entry list out, and then the Ulster Rally next year is going to be around the European Historic. So there's a great buzz about it at the minute now about historic rallying, so I thought we'd just find out a wee bit more, so we'll hear more from Gareth after a wee while. But first of all, what can we say? You know, Ken McBride has been knocking at the door now for a couple of years. He's finally clinched that Junior British Rally Championship, and himself and Darragh then, you know, getting it, and the Stellantis Cup as well. Fantastic news. Heart has to go out to Joe Kelly and McCafferty. They come so close, but they are definitely one of my stars of the year. They have had a great season, in fairness. But let's hear from Kyle and Darragh. I'm joined now by the Junior British Champion and the Stellantis Cup winners as well. Kyle, that must still sound very good, although we're over a week away from it now.
Yeah, sounds good. Hard to believe. Still hard to get starting to sink in a bit more now when, you know, you get back home and bits and pieces and you realise it, you know. But yeah, look, thanks for having me on, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah. Not a bother, not a bother. Darragh, like you know, you've seen firsthand the hard work that's gone into this, and you put a lot of, you know, it's been the periods that really put the shoulder to the wheel this year, and it's good to see all that hard work paying off.
Oh, it's brilliant to see the hard work pay off. All right, yeah, like a lot of work was in behind the scenes, both with Kyle there, especially prepping the car and the whole lot. So that's all unseen, and then the work we do with the academy and that then in the background to prep us, especially for a fight like that in the last round. You know, all that's unseen, but it's great. It's paid off.
Yeah, because like, you know, you're putting in those hard yards at the academy as well too, and like you've seen firsthand. Do you feel the benefit of it? You know, the fitness, the mental agility, all that all comes to good then when you're in the heat of the battle. It doesn't take as much out of you maybe then as well.
Yeah, well, like they've had good focus on fitness now, and it is brilliant. You can notice improvement all round compared to a couple of years ago. You know, when fitness probably wasn't a focus point. So yeah, it's definitely an improvement there, and then working a good bit on mental fitness, and that definitely helped in the Cambrian, you know, and the likes of the last stage in Krunching as well. You know, you're under pressure, but you don't feel under pressure. It's able to push that to one side and just focus on the job and get it done, and worry about the pressure later on. You know, so it really helps in the car. So it does, yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, you know, that is what the academy is all about, is giving you guys the tools that'll, you know, whenever the situation allows, you have that in your back pocket, you're able to slide it out and go, this is what I need to do. And that you know, almost becomes second nature without even having to think about it too much.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's great to be in the academy, great to have the experienced people that we can ask questions about, and yeah, learn those things. Mentality in the sport is crazy important, because sometimes you go out and you could be leading and something happens and then you're not leading, and like you have to figure out in your head how to manage it and how to aim on getting back into the lead, you know, and sometimes it's tricky because sometimes if you're not in the right mindset, you can't get a right flow in the car, and it's not working in the car, or you can't get into a rhythm with the notes, and yeah, it's just difficult. But it's great to have that experience that they supply us with, and a huge shout out to all the people behind the scenes who does great work in that. And yeah, look, it's we've been in plenty of these situations before. We have to kind of fight back, and it's great because you learn every time you do it and you achieve it. You learn more every time, and then when you hit that situation again, you actually have an understanding of what you did before, and it becomes, as you say, second nature, and then you don't really need to think about it too much. You know what to do, and that is half the battle, to be fair.
For sure. And like, I suppose we should give a shout out to Joe Kelly and Kelly McCarthy. Like I think it's fair to say they have been, two of the stars of the year. Like Joe has really put a lot of work, and as has Killian. They have really upped their game this year, both in gravel and tar. They have a lot to be very proud of this year too.
Yeah, 100%. Great to be racing a fellow Donegal man as well over in the British Rally Championship. Great year for racing. It's been a ding-dong battle throughout the year. Could go either way at each event with the both of us. And yeah, it's great to have somebody like that that's pushing you on, because if you don't have that, realistically, you're not going to improve. Nobody's going to improve, and you need to have that and have something to fight for, I suppose, because when you have something to fight for, you're fighting, finding that limit, and trying to find that last bit. And when you find that, you realise what the car can do or can't do, and then you get that next step, and it's just keep building and building. But huge shout out to those guys. A very good year. They've were on a very good pace throughout the year, and very well done to Killian and Joe.
Yeah, for sure. And Darragh, I'm sure you'd want to echo their sentiments as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, it was great battling with Joe all year. Joe and Killian there. We had some great races there in the gravel, and again brought it down to the last loop of stages there in the Cambrian. Joe just shows the pace that Joe has come on, and it's brilliant to be battling like that. Those Rally 4 cars, it's brilliant class. Not knowing who's going to win, for sure. No one's walking away with the class as such. So it was great, and fair play to Joe and Killian. It was a great year for them as well.
Mm-hmm. And Darragh, you see firsthand that the effort and the commitment that goes into driving those cars. They're not the easiest car to drive, and to extract the maximum out of it, you have to bring your A game every time you step in behind that car.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's no if you hesitate at all, here and there, small little hesitations across a stage, it really adds up. By the end of the stage, then it could be 5, 6, 7 seconds. Even though it's only a slight hesitation, but those cars, especially the Peugeots, you need to grab them by the neck and really push them on and drive them. And Kyle's great at doing that. He is. He's very good now, and it makes for great battles as well throughout.
Because Kyle, you can't afford to drop 5 or 6 or 7 seconds. It's the difference between maybe being leading the rally and being 5th or 6th. In certain days.
Yeah, exactly. You can't afford to be hesitating at all, because you can just see the time disappearing in that moment. If you come around a corner and you're a gear too low, and you realise, right, that's a second gone, and it's you need to be pushing them on, and yeah, look, they're a great car. I still have a lot more to learn in the car. Still plenty of bits to improve on and get faster at. So yeah, you're all the time improving, and it is great class, great battling all year in that class.
Yeah, and whenever you seen them, the guys that were a year ahead of you, Craig Rahal, Keelan Grogan, and Ewan Lloyd as well, they see what they've went on to achieve in the ERC, and whenever you were fit to mix up with them last year, it must give you great hope now, looking forward to next year. Yeah,
definitely so. They've had really good strong seasons out there in Europe, and showed really strong pace, the three of them. So yeah, it's good to know that, but I think when you go to Europe, it's another level, it's another level higher, and the rallies is a little bit bigger, and there's more dynamics to the rallies. You're learning the rallies from scratch, you could say, because the knowledge you learn in Ireland, UK isn't really relevant for 90% of those rallies. So look, it's very well done to those guys, and yeah, look, it is interesting, to be fair, yeah.
And Darragh, this guy, he is a sponge. He's picking up information, he's watching, he's looking, he's taking it all in. He'll have no fear wherever he goes.
Not at all. No, there's been no fear, and he's taking in every bit he can. Trying to extract every last bit, whether it's out the notes or watching in car, or to get the very very last out of the car as well. But any bits of tips and tricks that he can pick up, he's picking them up and putting them to use straight away. So yeah, it is good, and it'll be very beneficial for next year. Going forward, because going into that championship, you need to be on the ball straight away.
Because Kyle, part of your prize for the Stellantis Cup is entries and tyres, for next year. Like, I suppose that has to be the aim for next year.
Yeah, definitely. So look, we always wanted to get out and compete in the junior ERC and try and get to up to their level. So look, we decided to do the Stellantis again, and if we could win the prize at the start of the year, we thought it'd make it hopeful, and yeah, I'm just delighted that we have won the prize now, and yeah, our focus turns to trying to put a program together to get out there, because we have that prize to use and we want to use it, so we fought all year to win it, and yeah, we want to make the full use out of the prize. So yeah, let's hope we can get the budget together and get out to Europe and try and get onto their level and see where we're at, see what we need to improve on, and yeah, just keep on pushing forward, moving forward as a team.
Yeah, because you have watched the guys develop this year. We talked there earlier about the academy. You can see what's there, what can be achievable. Like, when you see what we have achieved this year, Craig won the rally, Keelan setting really strong times, John Armstrong won 2 rounds, could have nearly possibly won the championship. Eamon Kelly won in Finland, the junior round, the WRC there. Wal Crichton and Liam Regan taking the BRC. Yourselves then, junior, this is phenomenal. This wee country producing so many champions. It is a real great time to be in the middle of Irish Rally.
Yeah, I think I'm so lucky that I'm in this period of time, because back maybe 10, 15 years ago, there's also many of great drivers, and unfortunately just there was no real pathway, no real support put in place for those drivers to go that next step, to try and put their talent out there, which is a shame, because we've lost plenty of good drivers as well. But look, there's lots coming on behind us here, and yeah, look, it's unbelievable the amount of drivers that Ireland has produced, and yeah, going out to the junior ERC and the junior WRC with Eamon and John and William, it just shows you nearly what the academy is doing, and how it's improving everyone, and it's bringing everyone along, and it's bringing a lot of even people that's not in the academy, because they're benchmarking themselves off other people that's in the academy and vice versa, and yeah, it brings everybody along, and it's really good for our sport, really good for Ireland, and really good for the whole academy.
Yeah, because Darragh, you've been involved with rally now for a few years, and you can see that, the way that they say that the rising tide lifts all boats. The level has gone up here. Every year it just seems to be getting higher and higher. You think, oh, it can't get any faster than this, and suddenly it is. And it is just those natural younger talent coming in and just pushing everybody on that to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. Like every year, the pace is just getting hotter and hotter, and a lot of it is to do with those younger guys, the next generation coming in. They're looking up at the guys that previous to them, at the likes of Kyle, Craig, and Keelan, Eamon, the whole lot. The next generation are looking up to them and wanting to be like them, and especially with Josh there in the Rally 1 car, it just shows what's possible. And thanks to the academy and that, it shows that is achievable, and the younger guys are looking at that and trying to get up to where Josh currently is. So they'll do everything and anything that they can to get up there. So yeah, the pace is just picking up, and everyone's looking for that extra second.
Yeah, because we run an event there earlier in the year. I was over with the Donegal Motor Club, and they were talking to this next generation, the junior 1000s, and we were kind of asking them what their ambition was, and it was to be in the World Championship. I think the least of their ambitions was to win the Donegal Rally. For guys of 14, 15, 16 years of age, they dream big. They're not scared to to think that this is reality anymore. It's not just a that'll never happen, but this is, this could happen for some of them.
Yeah, definitely. Like back a number of years ago, I suppose it was a dream for a lot of those that wouldn't be achievable. But now it shows there is a pathway there in place, and that it is possible. It is achievable if the work and effort is put in. It's highly possible they can get to the World Championship at the top level, top level car and everything. So yeah, it's and to see what can happen when they put the effort in. So they're willing to do it and that. And
that's for sure. Because Kyle, it's not just turn up on a Saturday morning and jump in and drive around the forest for a bit of crack. There's a huge amount of effort. There's the fitness. There's the all the training. There's the nutrition. This is a full-time commitment to it all.
Yeah, it's I think that's when you get to the rally day. I think that's the kind of the easy day, because it's suppose the preparation coming up to the event, 2 weeks out, getting prepared, getting nose prepared, looking at in cars and comparing in cars and checking in cars from previous years if we did the event and what stage is the same, what stage is different. And yeah, I think, without that sort of preparation nowadays, it's everybody's kind of starting to do that and pick up on it, and that brings everyone along. And if you don't do that, you're going to be left behind, unfortunately, is the reality. And yeah, it's yeah, it is good, and it improves you as a driver, and you get to understand more things and more aspects of the sport when you think more in detail about your fitness and how you think you could be fitter, or what way it'll improve you thinking throughout the stage. If you're getting towards the end of a long stage, if you're feeling fatigued, or if you're still feeling quite sharp, and you notice that, doing some of the big events, if you feel if you're getting towards the end of a long event and you're getting to the end of a long stage, you're just not as sharp as you were at the start of that stage, and that's not what you want. You want to be, bang on the money straight away on the first corner, the same way you're on the last corner, just to have that 100% concentration. So yeah, there's a lot to it, but look, it's really, really good.
Actually, you just love all that. That to you, I would say, yes, it's hard work, but it's enjoyable work.
Yeah, a bit of both. When you get, suppose when you get when your result rewards you for that, you be thankful that you put in the work. Then sometimes, you put the work in, you mightn't get rewarded for it, and then it's when you're at the very bottom and the lowest of the low, and then you're trying to get back to get the same amount of work put in to get that reward, and you might do that 2 or 3 events and still not get your reward. And look, we had many situations throughout this year like that, and I felt like we were rewarded at the end of the year, which was probably the best time to be rewarded. We had a lot of ups and downs throughout the year. This year, a very tricky year, for us, but just delighted to get the 2 championships.
Yeah, because Darragh, they always say about rally, celebrate the good days, because there's a hell of a lot of bad days.
there's plenty of bad days, all right. Plenty of them in my time, all right. But no, look, the bad days there this year just made the last rally all that bit sweeter. So it did. So definitely lap up the good days, because, as you say, there is going to be plenty of bad days to come.
That's for sure. And I suppose, Kyle, to start wrapping things up, then looking forward to next year. But this year you've had some very strong people behind you. I would say you like to pay tribute to your sponsors and all that's helped you to get this far.
Yeah, 100%. Look, wouldn't be here talking to you otherwise than all the sponsors that I have on the car. And yeah, it's a massive effort to get me to these 2 championships, between the support from the academy, all my personal sponsors, the help with Darragh, the work Darragh puts in, and yeah, there's a lot of people on the car and a lot of people not on the car. And look, huge thanks to them. Thanks to Dad for towing the car around to the events, and BDM Motorsport for running the car. And yeah, we had a bit of an up and down year throughout the year. But thankfully we never give in and never give up, and yeah, we never will give up. But it was great. It was great to get it at the end, and yeah, it was a tricky year, but just so much people to thank. It's a big effort for everyone behind the scenes that aren't seen, suppose, and yeah, they make it all possible. So it's thanks to them, and yeah, look, I always dreamed of doing these championships, and you always dream these things, and sometimes they mightn't look possible, but I think if you put your head to it and you have a good group of people that you surround yourself with, anything is possible, realistically, like, so if somebody else can do it, why can't you not do it? So it's the way I look at it. So yeah, look, as I said, there's always a dream to do these championships, and then it's just step by step. We take the next step, and we see how we go, and yeah, that's how we work. And just thanks to the academy and all the people in the academy for the help throughout the year as well.
So thanks very much there to Kyle and Darragh, and fingers crossed that all comes together and we'll see them out on the Junior European Rally Championship next year. I do think that's a great wee talent there, there's no doubt about it. Next up then, we're going to chat to Johnny Baird, the COC for the McCafferty's Bar Donegal Forestry Rally this weekend. Very close to home for me, it was really handy. Really looking forward to this event. A track to a top class entry, fantastic stages. With a wee bit of an issue with the line with Johnny towards the end, it lost him, but he wanted to pay tribute to the hard work that this team has put in. Few guys round about here and a lot of work on his own team as well too. Fantastic to see, and it's all coming together, so we're hoping that they're really safe and good weekend. Also McCafferty's, we know what they're doing the boys have put into rallying over the last number of years, and they be sponsoring this event and all too, and they put a huge effort into the rally as well too. Brilliant to see there. So yeah, let's hear from Johnny. Johnny, we're just mere days away now from the start of the Donegal Forestry Rally. You have to be over the moon with the entry, 100 plus entries, and I know you can only start 100.
Aye, yeah, blown away, Kevin. Start to finish, 134 entries entered the event. We seeded 117, and if you were sitting and looking, you were running a mini stage this time of year, you would be so happy with that entry. And so no, listen, I'd like to thank everyone entered. So yeah, again, over the moon of the entry. Just going to show the appetite for forestry rally and that we had that entry,
Yeah, because the rally was due to start due to run in February at the start of the year, but unfortunately Storm Orwin put a stop to that. You'd have thought come this time of the year things are going to be a bit quieter. Guys are starting to look forward to the 2026 season. Budget's gone, but I think Donegal Forestry has turned that whole notion in his head.
Well, I kind of cursed Storm Orwin for a few weeks, but I kind of thanking him now, to be fair. But no, listen, hey. The entry was looking good again in February, but I think maybe 122 before we pulled it. But no, the works too that we've carried out within the stages as well since the storm, the stages got a right batter in February, and the work, the culture and ourselves carried out has definitely paid, off. I'm so happy.
Yeah, because there is it's not just this doesn't just happen. There's a team there out there working on the stages, getting them tidied up. Carrying out work to make this the best rally it can be.
Hey, listen, the amount of days that we've spent up there the last couple of weeks, and even beforehand in December and January, it's nearly as hard than doing the tarmac rally because you're only allowed in certain times and certain days, but again, the work that's been carried out, it does pay off whenever the work is there. The stages are in really, really good condition.
Yeah, because once the crews are in for a real treat, and you have 100 plus entries, and the quality or the quantity is there, but also the quality is top class. That's as good an entry as you would see in some tarmac rallies.
Oh, hey, yeah, 100%. If you go down and look at that four-wheel drive entry, look at the top 15, top 18 of it. Mm-hmm. Those guys would get on the top 30 and the national here.
Yeah.
And again, you go back and you look at the Lakelands, you look at the Bushwhacker, you look at the Dogleg. It's the exact same people, and as I was saying earlier, there's definitely a hunger for forestry rally in here,
Yeah. And something that I think we should be very proud of as well. Donegal is always associated with tarmac rally, and sure they'll not bother with the sticks up there. This is phenomenal, the amount of Donegal crews our Donegal representations and so many cars as well.
Aye, like all you have to do is start and look at the likes of Kevin Eves and Kelly brothers and a lot of the guys. 2-wheel drive have decided, 3 or 4 Forestry rallies after the tarmac's over, so we'll just put the cars to Forestry and go out for the day's crack.
That's for sure, yeah. And also attracted, the guy that won the junior round in Rally Finland, Eamon Kelly as well, over with Conor Muchan, and in a Skoda as well too, so, and then, Jason Mitchell, Forestry champion, didn't need to come here, but he wanted to come here for his local co-driver, Paddy McCrudden, as well too.
Aye, listen, hey, it's, you have 3 Donegal town men in the top 3. You have Paddy McCrudden there, and Jason. You have Eamon and Connor, and Liam McIntyre. So, I think it's going to be the capital of Forestry Rally in Ireland for a while, I know.
That's for sure, yeah. Some bit of bragging done. Who's going to get the bragging rights come Saturday evening there, So.
Plugs on Saturday night, I would say.
That's for sure, yeah. And in the 2-wheel drive, fantastic, really strong entry there as well. Sam Stewart is the man of the moment. But an interesting entry, Daniel Breslin, in made the switch from the tar onto the gravel as well. Going to be interesting to see how Daniel's going. I'm guessing he must have borrowed Shane McGurr's laddies down to do in the entry list.
Yes, Sam at the minute is, yes. He's definitely, Sam is very hard to beat at the minute, and the woods like top in the lake, top in the dog heap there, he's a very good driver, and everything's starting to work well for him, and he would like to get his hands trophy on Saturday. Daniel, yeah, great, good different entry. Daniel's going well in the escort. He's out in Shane's ladder, so he won't be far away. Yeah,
no, that's for sure. Yeah,
far away.
And then a group of lads that you're very familiar with too is the Rally 4 cars as well too, and a strong entry there. And those guys, the pace they're going at, they're not going to be far away from the top 2-wheel drive times either. They could string a surprise or two.
I agree 100%, Kevin. Like you have 6 Rally 4 cars there. You have Ben McFall, you have PJ, you have Owen England, Callum Graffin, Josh Harris, John Ward. Those guys, the times that they're putting in, whenever you're in the car, it's separated by seconds.
Yeah,
it's literally at seconds. Those cars are going as hard as they can go. And as you say, they won't be far away from the podium.
No, so that is for sure. Yeah, that, and it's an absolute testament to them young guys. And never mind them young guys, it's the next already coming hot in their heels. It's the Junior 1000. Like there's 25 entries there as well. And once again, it's amazing the quality it's there too.
Yeah, Junior 1000s. You go. I think it was Cork Forestry. The times were coming in. I was watching it all on the Saturday morning. You were getting the times, and they were separated again. Similar to the Rally 4 cars, they were separated by points of a second.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't talking 2 or 3 cars, you were talking 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And those young guys are getting into that car, and they're going like the Rally 4 as hard as they can. And their times that they're putting up as fast as they.
Yeah. And this all started from very humble beginnings. It was Ray Fitzpatrick and yourself seen the potential of this because you seen what was happening in the north and thought we need some of this.
Very true. Interesting story that with a phone call from it was Marty McGarity at the time. To go and sit with this boy up in Bishop's Court, and the J1000s up in the north. And at that time, there's only 3 or 4 of them, and got a crack of back in the water. So went up, and the driver was William Crichton, and I mind doing the rally and coming out. could not believe it. And these cars. I was going home and I was talking to Ray Fitz. Right, this has to be done. You have to do something. Because the potential to do this is phenomenal. Like you look at William, where he is now, he's been BRC champion last week. Look at Joe McCarthy, who's came through that. Kyle McBride, who's won the Stellantis. Joe Kelly. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
There is only going to be more of it.
Yeah, and now that there is the pathways there, the sky's the limit for these guys and girls coming up through now as well.
Yeah, and they're so tech savvy and social media. They're so, profiles these guys and girls are creating is, it's great to see, and it's great to see that they have the interest to do this as well. And it's also promoting them, but it's also promoting the Forestry Championship as well, and it's promoting the rounds because these cars are going to the rallies, and they are bringing entries as well, and people now are going to watch the J1000s rather than they're there now to watch the J1000s. Listen, it's great, everybody involved at the process. If we would have sat down and thought about it, we're going to be in 2020. Would it be? I mind looking after the rally in 17. I started 3 cars. 20.
Yeah.
That's walking.
Aye, for sure. And the Donegal Motor Club has really embraced it as well too, because they're running inside the junior 1000. They're having their own championship as well too, and this is the final round of it as well too, and that's going to be that has created a huge interest here in the county as well.
Aye, it's something that we started as a committee as an idea last year. We ran the hill climb. You can run the J1000s up hill climbs. We had 2 days of the hill climb. I think we had 6 hours and the J1000. So we've seen it, and we decided to do it again this year over the summer, that we would run a championship for them. And again, we had 5 or 6 cars, 2 days there at Rally. And with the support of Donegal Commercial Vehicles, we had them in the club championship. The Forestry Rally is the final round of it, so they do 3 rounds. They do 2 in tar and 1 on the gravel, and the winner gets the J1000 club champion.
Because we often hear saying, clubs don't bother, that's all the older generation are not doing enough to help get young people in. This is the ideal opportunity. Get them in at that age and they'll be there forever. Yeah,
hey, and as well, Kevin, they always don't have to be going to rally 2 cars.
No.
I always look at the state where you're a football manager and you have to bring in younger players because your players are getting older, and there'll be guys that will be driving Honda Civics in a year's time, they'll be driving Scourge, but they're still getting the sport. I think that any sport you have to have people coming through the age.
Thanks to Johnny there, and hope him and his team have a great rally this weekend. Next up now, we're going to hear from Gareth McKay. Gareth is a stalwart of rallying from a few years ago, a name will be familiar to a good few of you out there. One of those guys, great knowledge of the sport and all, and with so much chat going on now about all these different historic events that's happening and what's coming up next year, we thought who better to give us a good deep delve into it all would be Gareth. So let's hear from Gareth. Gareth, lots of exciting news breaking about historic rallying. We've always said historic's going to be the future of rallying, and I think this past week has really proved that. We have the news coming out about the Ulster Rally going to be around the European Historic, Chris Meek coming to Killarney Historics amongst many others, and RAC entry list out as well too. So we have a lot of talking points to go through, but I suppose maybe Chris Meek coming to Killarney. Every year Killarney manages to pull something out of the hat. Last year we had Roving Pera. The first news coming out of Killarney so far this year, Chris Meek coming over in a BM. That's going to be something else to watch come the start or the end of November, sorry.
Yeah, it definitely is, and Chris also has been he's match fit because he's been doing a lot of rallying, so I can't see any issues there, and the M3s are now really well set up and suited. So, I would say anyone standing up a Mall's Gap will be in for a treat, So, well, it would be maybe lovely if there were possibly to maybe sneak Patrick Snars in there in the M3. That maybe that's wishing for too much, but that would fairly give Chris Meek a run, against like Snars, and he had that wee run and down at that Killarney Master thing that was on, and I think by all accounts could hardly get him out of it, out of the M3. I think he was gonna one of the boys, Brand Dugan, who would have co-drove for one of the boys that owned the M3. He was saying he could hardly get Snars out. He was worrying about having to co-drive for him, maybe in the future. But maybe that's a thing if Killarney Motor Club's listening, and I don't know. Snars is an approachable guy. He's a real down to earth fella. So he is. But sure. It's great to see Mick, and maybe one of the other things, Alan Ring has possibly a new. Well, I say a new Subaru, but there's talk about one of these 555 Subarus that's meant to have arrived in Ireland, heading towards
Killarney, yeah. So
his outfit now, I think it was meant to be here for the Fastnet, but I don't know what fully happened there. But definitely, Killarney at the minute, early days, as you say, we've only heard Meek, with 3 runs, as far as I know, up Mall's Gap and 1 in the dark. I think the last one's in the dark reversed, so like that could be a challenge in its way, in its own right, so it is. I think,
and Killarney has become, like, the historic has become such a huge rally now as well too. It's the one that the modified guys want to win, but it's really become the pinnacle of historic rallying here now in Ireland.
Yes, it definitely has. There probably could even be room for it maybe to go to 2-day, not putting organisers under any pressure. But running that sort of 2 format where you have the historics and the modified, is the best way to do it. It includes everyone, and as you say, the modifieds go as hard as some of the historic boys, or even harder. So it's always a fitting end to the year. So it is really,
Yeah. And like as we said, like Meek is only the start of the story. I'm sure the Motor Club has a few other races up their sleeves, so we're going to be watching that with bated breath now.
Absolutely. At the minute, this is better than waiting for your Christmas presents.
That's for sure, yeah. And then the fantastic news, the Ulster Rally. Like, we know that the observers were over last year watching, and they have granted them historic European status for next year as well. We've seen at the time that they ran the British Historic Championship, the guys coming over loved the stages, loved the event, loved the welcome they got. This could be, if they get this right, this could be something very special. We see it online, these like cars that we can recall from our youth, the fire breathing monsters, and all that's coming into historic rally now in the next next year. We're going to see early world cars, Group A cars, Group N cars. There's going to be such an array of cars coming in.
Yes, to mention a few, you've got the Escort Cosworths, WRC Escorts, and actually you can run an early Focus WRC, as far as I know, because the Frank Macker's Focus was a 99. So
yep.
as long as the FIA have it on their list, as far as I know, then if it's within that year bracket between 93 to 2000, then, as you say, even Group N or some of the smaller Group A cars like going into the Peugeot 205s. They might be pre-93. You would need to start checking all your years, but definitely the Escort Cosworths could be in there in this pre-2000 championship. Even things like early Toyota Corolla WRCs, the 205 Celicas, then you go into the 555 Subarus, possibly some of the early WRC Imprezas, but again, it just, well, like Nesbitt ran
a 97 car and a 98 car, so like there's definitely there's lots of opportunities there. Like the P2000 obviously was the year 2000, so it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out to play, because we keep we focus so much on the big banging cars, but like it opened up like a lot of Group N cars. The front wheel drive stuff, sure, we didn't even know how good we were getting it with the kit cars at that time as well too. We never seen a 306 Maxi here, but we had McGanns, we had Astras, we had Golfs. Like it was like, only now looking back, we've seen the phenomenal cars that they produced as well.
Yes, that's correct. And just you mentioning the 306 Maxi, just last month there, Delacour was back out in 306 Maxi. So, like, hopefully this championship might open up to get some of these older drivers out that maybe that we have never seen on our stages, and it's a great chance for that. But I think it's also a great chance for people like Andrew Nesbitt, maybe Austin McKay, not to be going out and maybe some of these new cars, they have their place and all, but maybe then to come out for a bit of crack and
cars of their era as such,
It's not so much taking a step backwards. It's now we have sort of, instead of having maybe 20 years of historics, we now have nearly 40 years from the start of special stage rallying up to 99, really, so we now have such a range of cars. And the other thing this pre-2000 championship will do, a lot of the cars and stuff are still maybe quite current, so parts and stuff are easy to get, maybe some harder than others, but it could bring out a lot of stuff, so it could, whereas people thought before, I don't fancy that, or
you need an Escort, not everybody loves Escorts, like it was a kind
that's great, so that, and like with the sheer cost of everything, this is also, could this also be a way of the sport attracting newcomers and maybe getting back to clubman, where you don't need to have the top range car, that you can still go out and have a bit of crack. Maybe even something as simple as like an Evo 1 or an Evo 3, that parts can still be bought quite reasonable, compared to running your Escort Cosworth or your WRC Escort or a Corolla or something. There might be something in that could maybe be a real stepping stone for younger guys coming along and thinking, well, that's not bad to build that car, and we can run it pretty much within a budget. It could open up. It's a very interesting prospect, so it is. So,
and I think then like Ireland or North and South probably need to go out there and sell, because we've seen the European Historics coming to Killarney a few years ago, and it probably didn't get the take up that it probably deserved. Is there something that the Ulster Rally, maybe do they need to be finding some way of promoting their rally to make the guys make it the go-to destination? I suppose maybe that's where I'm coming from.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that. yes, definitely. Sort of the groundwork needs to be done at some of the other events happening in that calendar of that the Ulster's going to be included with, and it's probably also just getting people talking about it. And maybe the other thing is when competitors are going over to do other events, it's just, I think there has to be a wee bit of promotion done, because for so long we had it so good, Kevin. Like, if you look back, like the old Circuit of Ireland videos, I'll take Bangor because that's where I'm from. We had absolutely everyone, starting the circuit and all. They all came because our rallying was so good. And then we had a lot of years of McHale, Bertie Fisher, which I still miss to this day. It still brings a tear to my eye that blue or silver Subaru. Like, I'd love to see Bertie having a chance to go back out. He would have been a real man. He was a great man for promoting stuff, and just the way he went about stuff. And it'd be great to see Andrew Nesbitt out again. Maybe even an odd one, James Leckie.
I was seeing James doubled his toe back in rallying last year, and maybe something like this could appeal to him. Or, Derek McCafferty, like it would be just like the cars he had back in the day. Like there's so many names just pop up. It's just and like the Ulster Rally, we don't know the base yet, but the North has so many iconic stages, so many like things that you'd just be thinking, oh, if they were going over Torhead, or if they were going over Hamilton's Folly, or they were going over Slieve Gullion, or you can just see this would just lift Northern Ireland tourism to another level as well if it was properly managed as well.
Yes, absolutely, because as you mentioned there, like we have that many things being filmed now in Northern Ireland and Ireland, that especially in Northern Ireland, like you have that Game of Thrones and quite a lot of different stuff. So like places like Torhead, which is a renowned stage from old Circuit of Ireland days, really, it's probably one of our best stages in Northern Ireland now. You probably get loads of people ringing you and saying, no, it's not, but I think from the sheer spectacle of that on the TV, I think that's another thing we're maybe missing a wee bit is such quality programs like of RPM and all, maybe even sort of my background working with David Winstanley with the Rally TV, when it was getting on, like, I think it was Men Motors, and then it went to something else. But Rallying was getting covered, like you had the Roger Clark on it and all. I think we've lost a wee bit of that. Yes, the guys covering it at the minute doing a great bang up job, and especially all the online stuff, and even yourself that does a lot of the interviews at start ramp or the finish ramp or the catch up, the regroup. Sorry, I should talk rally terms. It's promoted really well in that way,
But we're preaching to the converted. We're not reaching out outside our bubble. That's maybe where.
Absolutely, and especially maybe then getting things like the tour sport or some of these film companies or that sort of thing interested, that we can highlight, well, look, we're showing places where this was filmed or that was filmed, this can fit in with the rally. That is maybe something that to look at. Maybe for all we know, the Ulster guys are already
going down that avenue, because we've seen this year like the open golf in Portrush confined to whatever, probably 3-4 square mile, but the way it promoted this wee island, that was going out across the world. Like it was America, it was across Europe, it was the drama, it was the scenery, it was spectacular. and it would make you want to come here in your holidays. And like that was just like we have that and more.
Yes, it is. Just another thought on that. Actually, I was watching a Dice of the Irish with Paddy Hopkirk.
Oh yeah.
When he was running like second in the Camber car. How they got away with it, I don't know. But one of the interesting things from that, I can't remember if it was 71 or 72 circuit. I think it was 1970 because I think Roger Clerk won it. But there was a big interest came from like Finland.
Mm-hmm.
And it always interested me how they actually knew what made them come, you know. So they're definitely, if we look at Europe and the events, even away from the FIA championships, the amount of cars and drivers out there, it's unbelievable, you know. So it is. I do think the big thing that we maybe have to try to do to help some of the UK and the European boys is you know it yourself. It's the sheer price of ferry cost and travel. I know that from my point of view at the minute, with not so much filming anymore, but I'm wanting to go to different events that are further away, but it's the sheer cost
of travel. Yes, aye. Mm-hmm.
So I think in a way if we can, we need to try and just help them a wee bit. You know, that's not taken away from anyone here. You know, I have heard before of European events being very friendly to our guys and all that go there and all that make the effort and help them out. You know, maybe Europe, some of the clubs are maybe slightly richer or, you know, have more bigger sponsors. I think sort of part of our maybe issue with between Northern Ireland and Ireland, we don't have enough big companies. You know, we don't have big companies. Like if you see some of the cars in Europe and all, they're sponsored, you know,
by blue collar companies. Yes. Yeah.
Belgium, you know, Belgium from my side, I'm going to Legends Bascon quite a bit. The only way I can refer to is it's like Donegal. If your relative's not in the rally, then your next door neighbour's in the rally, or they're rally mad. Like it really is probably a bit like Donegal that you know someone in the rally, or you know quite a bit of people. You know, so I think there's a lot of work to be done on that.
Yeah, because like, we are renowned of the island of 100,000 welcomes, and it would nice to see that welcome be extended, you know, to getting crews here and subsidise either the ferry or accommodation. Or there has to be, you know, there's always like with the Irish thing, there's always a deal to be done.
Yeah, just a wee bit of help for them. I'm not saying free entries, but
no, but you know, just work with them.
Really, yeah, you know, but the main thing is getting the information out there, you know. So it is, I think, really, you know.
Yeah, and then before all that, then at the end of the month now, we have the RAC rally coming up too. And like again, this wee country, like look at the entry list. There's the amount of names from here peppered through it as well. And I have to say, could be another one in the cards, but there's going to be a lot of boys argue with that as well too. But like it just shows you the great place the Irish Rallying's in, that we can even consider going over there and feel that we can win.
Well, yeah, like the biggest news, the best news all year is I'd call him Return of the King for Marty McCormick. You know, he's going in the M3. You know, this is going to be something new. You know, maybe he might have the Mark II sitting somewhere if the BMW breaks down during the stage or something. They swap. No, don't quote me on that.
But yeah, the entry list is like it's peppered. Like there's no star names as such. There's no Chris Meek, there's no Oliver Solberg, but it's took a step back from these names. But it's the entry list is just peppered with guys that stalwarts of the rally that encapsulate all that's good about the Roger Albert Clerk Rally.
Absolutely. He really, it's probably one of the best top 20s in a long time. You've Seb Perez in there in the Stellantis, which is a real favourite to anyone. He could go really well. You have Mark Higgins in there in the TR7.
Yeah.
Them guys, David Appleby has been doing. They've done a lot of testing with that car throughout the year.
You've Ocean Price and Matt Edwards. Like fairly recent BRC champions, and like we've seen over here, like what the two of them can do. Both of them has competed here in Ireland in the past year as well too. Like so, and they have went over to Historic Rally now as well. Ocean a couple of years ago was one of the stars of the show, and could have been very close to the one, only slipped off then the last morning too, and it just goes on. Paul Barrett's making a return over. Paul can't be discounted. Adrian Hillington, another one of our guys, like Adrian's not soft either, it's going to be epic, I think.
Oh, it definitely is. And then we've thrown a couple of wild cards in, maybe like Neil Weaver in this 306 Maxi. It'll be really interesting to see how that goes in gravel. He's won the Open event the last couple of years, and he'll be definitely not be slacking. You have other boys possibly. Vivian
Hummel, yeah.
Yeah. Now I think. Sorry, I think he's maybe going on the Mark 1.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
It's down here as an Escort RS, but says 75, I don't know. And it's 8, which makes me think
that could be a Mark 1. Yes. And then, the current British champion, Menel as well, he's not soft either. Yeah. Ben Friend. As you say that, there's nearly anybody from that top 20, and maybe even a few others as well. Like you mentioned before we hit record here, if it's icy and snowy, Johnny Milner, like we know the talent he had behind the wheel and a front wheel drive 205. Like he would have the ideal car if the conditions were a bit dodge.
Oh, if we got conditions like 2010 when it was full snow, or 2011 when they were caught out in the last morning. They left Carlisle, headed up to Kildare, and Kildare was under, I think, 3 or 4 foot of snow. And I think they'd done 2 stages, and then that was it, But a lot of boys were caught out on normal tires, didn't have the right tires on because no one had been up the Kildare early enough to see it, Probably the other one we have to mention, Richard Hogg in the big
and the Rover.
And now Richard was he was telling me he has a core bit of spares package with him, so he hopes to have everything covered. He thinks he'll need to rebuild it a couple of times during. But he's looking forward, and you know yourself, Richard's no slouch. I'm not saying for the overall win, but
but for the adventure, it's going to be something else. And the way they go rallying for the crack. They really enjoy it. They get it's an adventure for them, isn't it? It's not they know well they're not going to be there competing for the podium. It's the whole adventure this epic rally. They want to go there and be part of it.
Yes, absolutely. The other one that comes to mind before, a bit like Seamus O'Connell bringing a full back axle with him, or even before that, when he rode her and them getting her fixed, because actually David Winstanley, he says, "Oh no, he's out." I just don't ever take that.
The wee man from Dungiven's never beat.
They couldn't believe that the car was back out looking pretty straight, you know. So
Yeah.
it was, you know. Seamus is another character that's missed from the Roger Clark. I know he's in retirement now and all, you know. But he was always a great character for the rally from when he first went over.
He was one of them guys that he never knew when he was beat. He never gave up. He always dug in and dug deep.
It's a rally I went to since I think 2007 was the first time I went over, and I've pretty much been over every time since. The other thing I would say, the Saturday, the Sunday, and the Monday are all quite handy to the boat, to the ferry.
Yes.
Sunday, especially with you have the stages in A and all, and around like Dumfries and all, which is only an hour and a half from the boat. You know, it might be a handy one for people to jump over, get a weekend's rallying. You know, not that far away from the boat. You know, so you're cutting your cost now. As you probably have seen, that the advance tickets are sold out, but I think as far as I know, you can still pay on the
gate.
Yeah, so you can. But it was busy. All the stages were very busy in 23, so I would say probably similar.
I get there early this year. Yeah, if you want to go.
It's definitely going to be epic. You know, it's funny because you sit and wait on it all year, and then it seems to catch up with you, you know. And now I can't wait to go, you know. I'm sort of, I'm going, would it not hurry up and get here, you know? But
thanks very much there, now, Gareth. And yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing what's going to unfold over the next few weeks and into next year as well too. So that's the latest from Crunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. All those things, as we keep saying, makes a difference. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.